¿Qué me gusta de ser mujer? Todo. Lo único que no me gusta es enfermarme cada mes.
Yo soy doctora, pediatra, yo quiero ser. Yo quiero ser 4 profesiones. Pero uno quiero ser doctora, otro veterinaria y otra abogada y otro profesora de arte.
En un futuro yo espero, en un futuro cercano, el siguiente año ya titularme, tener mi título y pues trabajar en una empresa o en donde pueda y pues poder tener mi dinero, mi propio dinero, no depender del varón, ¿no? Entonces poder tener mi dinero y pues de aquí a un tiempo poder casarme y tener mis hijos. Eso.
Ahora me siento orgullosa de ser mujer porque nadie me molesta. ¿Por qué? Porque yo digo, de aquí a mañana, si yo muero, mis hijos tienen una tierra en donde cultivarla y en donde sacar dinero. Tienen una casa en donde meterse para que las aguas no le lleguen.
I'm Audrey. And I'm Markita. We're students from the United States trying to uncover what it means to be a woman in South America, and, along the way, what it might mean for women around the world, ourselves included. Despite barriers of language and nationality, we share a common experience, womanhood, with half of the world's population. We're discarding the single story that conceals the individual truths of women and replacing it with the unique joys, challenges, identities, and experiences that both distinguish and unite us. We're here to share these stories, beginning with Mari Arce, a single mother living in the small farming community of Puerto Quito, Ecuador.
Desde que era niña hasta ahora mi vida ha sido muy sufrida. Yo he sufrido mucho, salí de la edad de 11 años, salí a trabajar y a estudiar. La única que tenía que mirar ya se murió, era mi abuelita. Era mi abuelita, la mamá de mi papi. Era la única que andaba, la única que me quería, de verdad me quería. Como por ejemplo, aquella vez que mi mami estaba muy enojada, me encerró en la casa, cerró las puertas con llave, con candado y me daba de latigazo hasta dejarme roto todo el cuerpo. Cuando me rompió todo el cuerpo, entonces mi abuelita ya era una abuelita, una señora mayor, joven. Entonces, no era joven, quiero decir, subió arriba, puso unos palos, se subió por la ventana y rompió la ventana con una piedra, rompe la ventana y cayó allá donde yo estaba. Entonces mi abuelita me salvó, como decir, ¿no?
Mari's 21-year-old daughter, Genesis Arce, lives with Mari, her 2 younger siblings, her 4-year-old son, and her partner Luis in Puerto Quito. Genesis helps her mom run the household and sometimes assists on the finca or farm.
Yo admiro mucho a mi mami, siempre lo he dicho, mucho porque aparte de que ha sufrido bastante en su niñez, en su juventud, en su adolescencia, como madre, como hija, ella ahora que se ha quedado sola sin mi papi, ella hace cosas, trabaja para ayudar a mis hermanos.
Yo en mi casa hago el papel de padre a la vez de madre, porque mis hijos no tienen papá. Yo soy el jefe, o sea, soy la cabeza de la familia.
Though there are many women in South America who, like Mari, work to support themselves and their families and empower their daughters, a strong machismo culture remains. This culture manifests itself in many ways, from street harassment to domestic violence to human trafficking.
El machismo, sí. Claro que existe todavía. Bueno, antes, las historias que a mí me contaban que antes los hombres eran más celosos, bueno, hasta ahora son celosos, o sea, más alcohólicos, les pegaban mucho a sus mujeres, demasiado.
También hay mujeres que son machistas, insultan, maltratan, pegan, mandan a lavar los platos, la ropa a los hombres. Entonces, por lado y lado, aquí en el Ecuador existe el machismo.
Danielle Villasana is a freelance photojournalist from the United States, now living and working in Lima, Peru. Her experience living abroad as well as her work with various communities of South American women have given her a unique perspective on machismo culture and what she refers to as macholandia.
Like, where do I begin? It's pretty typical, that on a daily basis you get catcalls or Thankfully I've never been like touched or anything, but I've heard of women who have been touched, or like men like masturbating like in public space or whatever. So it's definitely something you deal with on a daily basis. I counted one time at night when I left the newspaper to go to the bus station, which is like literally 2 blocks away, 3 blocks maybe. I counted like 5 men said something to me. It's like, it's just annoying, It's like, fuck, leave me alone. The machismo can be so subtle here, so subtle, and then it can be so extreme, like feminicide is, off the charts.
Throughout Latin America, women face an increasing threat of disappearances, kidnapping, human trafficking, and femicide. According to UN Women, femicide is a crime involving the violent and deliberate killing of a woman. More than 25 countries with very high femicide rates are in the Latin American and Caribbean region. In Honduras, femicide is considered the second leading cause of death of women of reproductive age, and in Guatemala, an average of 2 women are murdered every day. In both El Salvador and Honduras, the rate of impunity of femicide crimes is estimated to be nearly 80%. According to Human Rights Watch, in March 2013, the Bolivian government passed a comprehensive law to combat gender-based violence in response to public protests regarding several high-profile killings of women. However, the problem persists.
Fabiola Fuentes is a psychologist at Mosoyan, a Christian nonprofit based in Cochabamba, Bolivia, that serves vulnerable girls and young mothers. The organization worked with Fuentes when she herself was a young woman. She says news of disappearances and senseless violence against women is only becoming more common.
Casos que nosotros vemos en la televisión, por ejemplo, ha desaparecido María, tiene 13 años, ha pasado esto, estaba yendo a la tienda, estaba yendo a la escuela y se ha desaparecido. Entonces, para nosotros es muy alarmante, porque antes no se escuchaba de eso, ¿no? En Bolivia, por lo menos en las noticias, escuchabas muy poco de desapariciones. Hoy por hoy se escucha mucho de que hay personas desaparecidas, hay niñas que han aparecido descuartizadas. ¿Qué hacen con los niños? ¿No? Los explotan laboralmente o los prostituyen.
A community facing its own set of challenges resulting from machismo culture is that of transgender women in South America. Danielle's latest project profiles transgender women in Lima, many of whom work as prostitutes because discrimination inhibits them from finding other work.
Trans women are extremely discriminated here, extremely marginalized, and they have no protections at all, zero. And prostitution here is not legal and it's not illegal, so it kind of keeps them in this very undefined space that can be very dangerous. For example, like police officers and serenazgos, which are municipal police officers, will raid downtown Lima where a lot of the trans women work at night, and they'll stop them and just ask them for their ID card. Of course, a lot of trans people don't carry their ID cards for other reasons, and they'll just take them to jail. They're rejected a lot, not only by their families, but also by society. I mean, pretty much every trans woman I've talked to from my project has tried to look for other work and they can't find it. I know I'm a journalist or a photographer, but I see myself more than that to them. I feel like I'm also kind of a support, maybe, that they don't get from family or partners. Having an ally perspective is really important, and I can relate to them in the sense that I'm also female. Also, I have experimented sexually. I've been with women for years, I've been with men for years, I've had flings with trans people, so my personal perspective of sexuality and genders is very, very open and liberal, and so I think that bringing that perspective to the project is really important. I mean, I specifically remember a point in my life where I felt like I want to be more feminine, or I don't feel like I'm feminine enough, so in order to be more feminine, I need to wear makeup, and I need to wear jewelry, and I need to, wear short dresses, and so I experimented with that, and I was like, well, to be feminine, I don't necessarily have to, wear those signs, that say, oh, I'm female. I can just be feminine.
Talking to women from Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia has shown us that there are many ways to be female. As young women, we are crossing an important threshold of identity, and we've realized that traditional markers of femininity are often quite different from the truths that connect us. Though we all have different privileges and struggles that are more or less salient for us as individuals, our stories are intertwined.
When Mari learned to live alone in the campo, when Fabiola started serving the girls whose stories were so similar to her own, and when Danielle put faces and names to a marginalized community, it shaped the world that our generation's daughters will grow up in.
We promise to continue seeking out the unique stories of women and to use their teachings to shape our own lives as examples for other women.
Yo he mostrado que puedo hacer mucho, que yo soy diferente a mi madre, tal vez diferente a mis hermanas, diferente a mi familia, porque yo hice una promesa de cuando yo era una adolescente, y yo hice una promesa de que de mis hijos jamás nunca iban a sufrir lo que yo sufrí. Entonces, pues mi mami, si me trataba a mi mamá de esa manera, yo a mis hijos no voy a tratar así. Yo tengo que ser un ejemplo a seguir, o sea, un ejemplo a seguir a mi familia. Entonces yo le aconsejo a esas mujeres que uno solo hace mucho.